On September 10th, 2001, a woman walked out of a department store in Lower Manhattan and disappeared. Her name was Sneha Ann Phillip. She was a physician, 31 years old, newly married, living in New York City, and she was never seen again. But this wasn't just another missing persons case, because the next morning, the Twin Towers fell, and Sneha's story was buried beneath the rubble, literally and figuratively. Her name was briefly added to the list of 9/11 victims. Then it was removed. Then it was added back again. No one could agree on what actually happened to her, because unlike most 9/11 victims, no one saw Sneha at Ground Zero. There was no footage, no confirmed sightings, only theories. And some of those theories are disturbing. The night before the attacks, Sneha went shopping alone at a department store downtown. She bought clothes, lingerie, and some household items. The receipts confirmed the time. Surveillance footage confirmed her presence. That was the last verified moment of her life. Her husband, Ron Lieberman, claimed she stayed out that night, something she'd done before. He said she sometimes slept at her brother's place, or with friends. He didn't think much of it, until the next day, when the world fell apart. When the towers collapsed, Ron assumed Sneha had tried to help, that she ran toward the disaster, not away from it. She was a doctor. She would have gone to help. That's what he believed. But there's a problem. There's no evidence she was ever there. No witnesses, no records, no remains. And that's where the story splits. Some believe Sneha was a hero, one of the unknown Good Samaritans lost in the chaos. But others believe something else happened entirely. At the time of her disappearance, Sneha was facing serious personal issues. She'd recently been suspended from her residency over unprofessional conduct. She was battling depression, drinking heavily, staying out late, and according to police, she'd been arrested for filing a false report, claiming she was assaulted, possibly to cover up a night of drinking. The NYPD believed she didn't die in the attacks at all. They believed she disappeared, on purpose. Somewhere between the store and Ground Zero, Sneha simply vanished into the city, either by choice or at the hands of someone else. Years later, her husband fought to have her legally declared a 9/11 victim, and in 2008, he won. But not because there was new evidence, because the judge ruled that her being at Ground Zero was the most likely scenario. Most likely, but not confirmed. To this day, Sneha's body has never been found, and the footage of her leaving that department store remains the last known trace of her existence. One woman, erased by history, or hidden by it. The truth about what happened to Sneha Ann Phillip may never be known, but the timing of her disappearance, just hours before the deadliest terrorist attack in US history, makes it one of the most haunting unsolved mysteries of the 21st century. And maybe that's why so few people talk about it, because it's not just a story about a woman who vanished. It's a story about how even in the age of information, a person can disappear without a trace, and the world just moves on.
Well, here I am on my hike up here in the mountains north of Las Vegas.
He called it the M Cave, a strange, unnatural cave hidden deep in the Mojave Desert, one that made his entire body vibrate when he got close, and then he disappeared trying to find it again. This is the story of Kenny Veach, a 47-year-old hiker, an inventor, and a small YouTuber known for exploring the brutal terrain of the Nevada wilderness. In 2014, Kenny uploaded a video that would become his most infamous. "I found a cave out in the desert that scared the hell out of me," he wrote in a comment. "A cave shaped like a perfect capital M. I was about to enter, but my body began to vibrate the closer I got. It scared me badly. I don't know if it was supernatural or something else, but I backed out." People begged him to go back, and he listened. He posted a follow-up video titled M Cave Hike. In it, he's cheerful, confident. He treks through rocky canyons, searching for the cave he couldn't forget. But he doesn't find it. A few weeks later, he went back out, alone. And this time, he never came back. His phone was found at the mouth of a nearby mine shaft, but there was no sign of Kenny. No body, no gear, no answers. Just a cold phone screen, facing the desert wind. People started digging. Some believed Kenny died of exposure, that he simply got lost in the heat and the desert swallowed him. Others weren't so sure. His YouTube channel was flooded with theories. Some believed the cave was real, and that it hid a secret the government didn't want anyone to find. Others suggested something underground, military tech, magnetic radiation, something non-human, messed with Kenny's nervous system. And then there's the darker theory, that Kenny never wanted to return. His girlfriend later revealed he'd been depressed, that he'd once talked about taking his own life in the wilderness, leaving quietly, without a trace. But if that's true, why post about the cave? Why invite so much attention to his final journey? Unless that was the point. Today, Kenny's final hike is still viewable online, a strange, meandering video filled with long silences and vast, empty landscapes. You can feel the isolation in every frame. One man, chasing something impossible. Maybe a cave, maybe an escape, maybe both. We may never know what happened to Kenny Veach, whether the desert claimed him, or he chose to disappear into it. But one thing is certain, something out there made him come back, and whatever it was, it never let him leave.
We've discovered three stargates so far, and these are connection points to the starships. So we have a golden light that's coming out of this first one that we've activated. This huge golden light, beam of light, and it's connected to the ships up there.
She said she was God, 5 billion years old, the mother of all creation, and humanity's only chance at survival. Her name was Amy Carlson, but to her followers, she was Mother God. And together, they formed a cult called Love Has Won. What started as a strange online spiritual movement ended with a corpse, a crystal shrine, and a trail of broken minds. This is the terrifying rise of Love Has Won. Amy Carlson's journey began like a lot of modern cult leaders, on the internet. She was once a regular woman, a manager at McDonald's, a mom. Then one day, something changed. She claimed she'd received a divine message, that she had awakened to her true identity, and that identity was God incarnate. She abandoned her children, left her old life behind, and began recruiting followers through Facebook, YouTube, and New Age forums. She called it a spiritual mission, but it was really a cult. Love Has Won preached ascension, healing frequencies, and divine energy. But behind the rainbows and crystals was something much darker. Amy claimed she could cure cancer, reverse aging, even conquer death itself. She promised salvation, but demanded total obedience. Members lived in isolation, often in rural Colorado or Hawaii. They weren't allowed to question her. They weren't allowed to leave. And they were constantly monitored, even on live stream. Thousands watched as she berated her followers on camera, screamed at them, slurred her words, spoke in tongues.
My vision was chicken parmesan. So the fucking atoms turn around on me and get me meatballs. I didn't say meatballs. I love meatballs. But I didn't fucking say that!
Holy shit, FF.
Chicken parmesan!
Sometimes she didn't move for hours. People began to notice something was wrong. Amy was often drunk, delirious. Her body was visibly deteriorating, but her followers insisted she was ascending. And then she died. In April 2021, police found her mummified body in a Colorado home, wrapped in a sleeping bag, decorated with glitter and Christmas lights. Her eyes were missing. She'd been dead for weeks. And the cult? They kept her body in a bedroom, like a shrine, still calling her mum, still waiting for her to resurrect. 7 members were arrested. None expressed remorse. Some said she wasn't dead at all, just in stasis. The group fractured. Some fled. Others rebranded under new names. But their teachings didn't disappear. To this day, splinter groups and ex-members continue spreading her ideology online. Her videos are still up. Her voice still echoes through New Age forums, and her energy updates are archived by devoted believers. Amy Carlson may be gone, but the cult she created, it's not dead. Not yet. They called it a robot board, a place for people to post original content. No reposts, no noise, just thoughts, feelings, fragments of life. That was the idea behind 4chan's R9K, but what it became was something else entirely. A digital echo chamber, a breeding ground for hate, and a place where mass shootings were predicted before they happened. This is the disturbing story of R9K. 4chan has always been a strange corner of the internet. Anonymous posts, no usernames, no accountability. It's where memes are born and where darker things fester. But R9K was different. It started as a board for robots, a term used by socially isolated young men who felt rejected by society. They talked about loneliness, depression, virginity, suicide. The threads were raw, desperate, sometimes poetic. But as the years went on, something changed. The sadness turned into bitterness. The bitterness turned into rage. And that rage started looking for targets. Women, chads, society.
Hi, Elliot Roger here. Tomorrow is the day of retribution. The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you. I'm 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. I've never even kissed a girl. You girls have never been attracted to me. I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will punish you all for it. I don't know what you don't see in me. I'm the perfect guy. And yet you throw yourselves at all these obnoxious men, instead of me, the supreme gentleman. And I will slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up, blonde slut I see inside there.
In 2014, a 22-year-old man named Elliot Roger killed 6 people in Isla Vista, California. Before the attack, he posted a video, Retribution. He said he wanted to punish women for rejecting him, said he wanted to destroy those who had what he didn't. He was active on 4chan, and his words echoed the same language found on R9K. He became a hero to some users, a martyr. They called him the Supreme Gentleman, and it didn't stop there. In the years that followed, multiple mass shooters referenced Elliot Roger. Some posted on R9K hours before their attacks. Others used the board to share manifestos, plans, or twisted farewell messages. It was no longer just a space for venting. it was radicalizing people. And yet, it stayed online because R9K was anonymous, unmoderated, impossible to fully trace. It was a void. And in that void, some people lost their humanity. There were involuntary celibates, or incels. There were black pillars, who believed hope was a lie. There were threads romanticizing school shootings, suicide, and societal collapse. Some users begged for help. Others told them to pull the trigger. It became a place where nothing was sacred, where life had no meaning, where death was just another post. Today, R9K still exists. It's quieter now, fragmented. But the culture it helped shape spread far beyond 4chan. You can see its language on Reddit, on Discord, on TikTok comment sections. Young men echoing the same despair, masked as irony. The line between meme and manifesto is thinner than ever. And it all started in a forum no one thought to take seriously, until it was too late. She checked in under the name Jennifer Fairgate. No passport, no ID, no credit card, just a fake name, a fake address, and a room on the 28th floor. 3 days later, she was dead. Room 2805, Oslo Plaza Hotel, one of Norway's most luxurious hotels, and the scene of one of the most disturbing unsolved cases in European history. This is the mystery of Jennifer Fairgate. May 31st, 1995. A young woman checks into the Oslo Plaza Hotel, alone. She signs the register as Jennifer Fairgate, or Fergate, depending on the source. She lists an address in Belgium, but it's fake. She speaks fluent English, possibly with a German or Eastern European accent. She brings almost no luggage, and she pays in cash. No one sees her enter with anyone else. Hotel staff describe her as well-dressed, possibly in her 20s. But something about her behavior seems off. She barely leaves the room. She doesn't use room service. She stays in room 2805 for nearly 3 days. And then, a gunshot. When security enters the room, they find her lying on the bed, dead from a single bullet wound to the forehead, a Browning 9mm pistol in her hand. At first glance, it looks like suicide, but nothing about the scene adds up. There are no fingerprints, not on the gun, not on her belongings, not even on the room key. Her clothes have had the labels cut out. Her suitcase is nearly empty. No toiletries, no personal items. And her ID, gone. Her gun has its serial number filed off. And here's where it gets even weirder. She checked in under a second guest name, a man, Lois Fairgate. But no one ever saw him, and no trace of him was ever found. Who was Jennifer Fairgate? Interpol couldn't match her fingerprints. Norway's police never found any family. The hotel staff remembered little. She left no suicide note, no digital trail, and no real name. Some believe she was a spy. Others think she was part of an arms deal gone wrong, or that she knew something, and someone made sure she never left that room alive. But the case was closed, ruled a suicide, and officially, Jennifer Fairgate never existed. To this day, her body remains unidentified. No one ever claimed her. No one ever came looking. A woman with no past, no future, and no justice. Whoever she really was, she took the truth with her into room 2805.